Okay, let's proceed.
Please be seated.
Let's go on. Dito ka na.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and we'll now proceed with our press conference with Police General Debold and Sinas, Chief Philippine National Police. Please all rise for the invocation to be delivered by the Director of the Chaplain Service, Police Brigadier General Jason Ortizo.
Let us bow our heads and be aware of God's loving presence. Let us pray. God of mercy and compassion and the source of all graces and blessings, we thank you for your generosity and kindness and ask you to bless each one of us as we gather today along with the PNP Press Corps and friends from the media. May we all experience the sacred manifestation of the Holy Spirit to bestow us the grace for responsible journalism and fair news coverage. Guide us throughout as we race through the demands of our works, and let our thoughts and words be guided by your divine providence. Also, may all the information we reveal be inspired in accordance with your will. Empower us, dear God, with your sacred protections, especially from the pandemic and the fast-infecting COVID-19 variants. Finally, we beg you, dear Lord, to deliver the entire PNP organization and the leadership from all forms of dangers and harms, especially to our beloved Chief PNP, Police General Debold M. Sinas, and the members of his command group. All this we ask and pray in your most mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. And now let us hear this statement of the Chief of the Philippine National Police, Police General Debold M. Sinas.
Thank you very much, John, to the team PNP present in our regular press briefing and our friends from the media. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our TDCA, General Gilor Irizar, the ASCOF commander. He will have also his own statement on the status of COVID infection of the PNP. On my farther right is the director of the PNPA, Major General Roderick Armamento. He will present the top 10 of the graduating class of the PNP that will have its commencement exercise on April 21, 2021. On my left is the Director for Logistics and the Director for Operations, Major General Lito Casimiro and Major General Alfred Corpus, respectively. We have also here the Commandant of Cadets, General June Hamora, and the Dean of the Academics of the PNPA, Colonel Angel Hinorga. We have also here the Director of the Health Service for if you have questions, and other officers around, and we are ready to answer after my presentation. I am pleased to announce the forthcoming 42nd commencement exercise of the Philippine National Police Academy, culminating the 4-year training of 254 cadets who will join the Tri-Service Bureaus of the DILG. The 254-strong PNP Hinirang class of 2021 will henceforth venture into the real world of law enforcement and public safety, for which the Academy prepared them to. Incidentally, PNP Hinirang class of 2021 is the namesake, or we have the same name of the PNP Hinirang class of 1987, which we belong, and the 4 command groups of the PNP, and some other senior officers who are also PNP Hinirang class of 1987. And since our academy classes are both Hinirang or the chosen one, we agreed to adopt each other in a mutual adoption agreement that makes each one of us connected by a strong bond of camaraderie between big and small brothers. I am proud that the 214 of my younger Hinirang brothers and sisters are joining the PNP, while 20 more will join the Fire Service Bureau and another 20 will join the jail service. Upon graduations, the 214 Hinirangs will join the PNP Officers Corps with the initial rank of Police Lieutenant. However, they will not see action in the field just yet. They will have to undergo further training to better prepare them for the real police operations. The 5-year transition for the complete transfer of the PNP-A to the PNP administration and control is going ahead smoothly by phases. In our timeline, with a minimal interference on the ongoing training and curriculum in both the PNP-A and PNTI. The PNP has just fixed one of the biggest dysfunction that has beset the PNP since establishment in 1991, because the PNP will now be accountable for the entire recruitment, education, field training, and deployment of police officers. In short, we now covered everything that makes a complete officers from recruitment to retirement. The PNP now has the first-hand involvement in developing and strengthening the foundation of future law enforcement officers of the nation. With the PNP in charge of the training, cadets and candidate patrolmen will be able to learn skills and knowledge from the competent corps of instructors and professors coming from the ranks of the active and retired PNP personnel. This capacity will allow the PNP to effectively cope with the annual NAPOLCOM authorized quota of 10,000 recruits into the police force to replenish the rank of personnel separated due to retirement, attritions, and casualties. This capacity also comes at a more crucial time as the PNP assumes a pivotal role in the whole-of-nation approach to end local communist conflict with a strategic final push against the armed insurgency movement within the foreseeable future. We express high hopes that we will continue to professionalize the police service by producing graduates completely imbued with the core values and ideas of the PNP, and with more competencies that will result in a greater professionalism and better performance. There is no stopping us now in our road to excellence and training our own personnel on the core values of the police service and the skills required to apply the science of policing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will now hear from the Director of the PNPA, Police Major General Roderick Armamento, who will introduce the top 10 graduates of the Hinirang class of 2021 and other details on the graduation of the PNPA on April 21, 2021. Thank you at mabuhay tayo.
To our very own Chief Philippine National Police, Police General Debold M. Sinas, senior officers present, our friends from the Tri-Media present at the cyberspace and physically present. Good morning to everyone. Far and away, the best prize that life offers are the chances to work hard, and work hard worth doing, by Theodore Roosevelt. Successful individual most often says that cheerful will, undying determination, and quest for excellence are vital keys to reach the top of the summit. Many dared to traverse the path less traveled. Only few chosen to tell the tale of the great Odyssey. It has been a rough road indeed, but as future vanguards of the state, struggles and sacrifices are just part of a bigger and brighter picture to be part of the elite forces. As the journey of the Hinirang class of 2021 comes to an end, the Philippine National Police Academy proudly presents the meritorious top 10 performing cadets of Hinirang Class 2021 to include the special awardees who heralded on top of the graduates and advent to become future public officers. These gentlemen showcase exemplary prowess both in their academic and non-academic subjects throughout the course of their 4-year cadetship training, bestowed with the virtues of justice, integrity, and service from the highest institution of excellence and discipline. These gentlemen definitely have it to be called the Hinirang or henerasyong inihanda ng panahon upang isakatuparan ang responsibilidad alang-alang sa bayan. Now, as they close the chapter in their cadetship training, a new door opens to finally exercise public servitude to the Filipino nation, the people to whom the Immaculates of PNPA owe their legitimate authority to enforce the law. To our Chief Philippine National Police, Police General Debold and Sinas, as the Director of the Philippine National Police Academy, may I have the honor to present to you and to the Filipino people the Hinirang Class of 2021 Top 10 Graduating Cadets. So allow me to introduce to you one by one. Actually, sir, we have prepared an audio-visual presentations prior to calling them one by one. So please, ABP, please. Okay, thank you very much. So at this point, may I introduce to you, sir, our top graduating cadets present. The top one of the class valedictorian, may I now call on Fire Cadet Kenneth John Espelagar Itucas from General Santos City. He is the recipient of the Presidential Kampilan and the Chief Bureau of Fire Protection Kampilan. Thank you. For our top two, we have Police Cadet Carl Joel Perez Lofranco from Inabanga, Bohol. He is the recipient of the Vice Presidential Kampilan and the Chief Philippine National Police Kampilan. For our top three, we have Police Cadet Joel James de la Cruz de Guzman from Malubibit, Norte Flora, Apayao. He is the recipient of the Secretary of the ILG Kampilan. Thank you. For our top five, we have Police Cadet John Kenneth Laurentino from Tipanoy, Iligan City. He is the recipient of Best in Forensic Science. For our top six, we have Cadet J. Nery Cornelio from Sergio Esmeña Sr., Zamboanga del Norte. Yes, sir. For our top seven, Gerard Aquiliano Lopez from Samal Island, Davao del Norte. For our top nine, Cadet Sherville Lerios Ferenal from Calabagan, Lanao del Sur. And for our top 10, Cadet Michael Alan Pabustan Lennon from Capas, Tarlac. Likewise, joining with us are cadets recipient of special awards, namely Police Cadet Alvin Spencer Pilayo Kahilig. He is the recipient of the Napolcom Kampilan Award. And of course, Jail Cadet Kenneth Laya Cotton. He is the recipient of the Chief BGMP Kampilan Award. So sila po ang top 10 and special awardees for the 42nd commencement exercises of the PNPA class of 2021 to be held on April 21 via Zoom. So that ends my presentation. Mabuhay po ang Philippine National Police Academy. Mabuhay po ang PNP. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. Please be seated.
Thank you very much, sir. May I request our Chief PIO, sir, please to continue the proceedings, sir.
Okay, that is the graduations of the PNP. If you have questions later, please do so. We'd like to present also the weekly crime statistics from the IDM, and this will be presented by the representative of the director of the IDM. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good morning to the Chief PNP, Police General Debold, Sinas, members of the command group and the directorial staff present, other NSU directors, Director of PNPA, and to our friends from the PNP Press Corps. This morning, we will have 4 presenters, sir, by the Director for Investigation and Detective Management, the Director for Operations, the Director for Logistics, and lastly, the Deputy Chief PNP for Administration, the ASCOT Commander. For the IDM, let me call on Police Colonel John Guiguyon, XO, the IDM.
To our beloved and very active Chief of the Philippine National Police, Police General Debold and Sinas, sir, Police Lieutenant General Guillermo Lorenzo Elizar, our PDCA, sir, members of the command group, members of the directorial staff, directors of the national support units present, friends from the media, other officers, ladies and gentlemen attending via Zoom application, magandang umaga po. I'll be showing to you the crime environment for the week April 9 to 15, 2021 as compared to the previous week of April 2 to 8, 2021. Next slide, please. For the 2-week comparative period from April 2 to 8, 2021 versus April 9 to 15, 2021, it can be observed that the index crimes decreased by 30 incidents or 5.18%, while non-index crimes decreased by 67 incidents or 2.07%. The decrease of index crimes is attributed to the decrease of all 8 of the 8 focus crimes, except for slight increase in robbery, carnapping of motor vehicles, and carnapping of motorcycles, whereas the crime increase in non-index crimes were due to the continuous increase in violation of special laws, especially mandatory reporting of notifiable diseases and health events of Public Health Concern Act, or RA 11332. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. On the screen is a summary alongside its graphical representation of the 8 focus crimes for April 2 to 8, 2021 versus April 9 to 15, 2021, in which majority of the 8 focus crimes went down except, as was mentioned, for robbery, carnapping, and motor vehicle carnapping. Next slide, please. Both crime clearance and crime solution efficiencies for April 9 to 15, 2021 as against the previous week reduced by 5.17% and 0.27% respectively. This is understandable because crimes committed on April 9 to 15, 2021 has just happened and mostly are still under investigation. Please be assured that the PNP remains committed and making all of its efforts in solving these crimes. Next slide, please. For the assessment of the crime environment for the week, April 2 to 8, 2021 versus April 9 to 15, 2021. The overall decrease in all of the 8 focus crimes are caused by the following factors: the proactive pursuit enforced by the PNP through its various initiatives and preemptive and interventions, which serves as an effective measure for majority of the focus crimes. The use of strengthened checkpoints, patrols, and other police interference during the community quarantine by the police force, and further augmented by the active support of other law enforcement agencies and force multipliers, continuously reduce the number of the 8 focus crime incidents, and enhanced managing police operations is still actively in place. Further, still as an effect of the pandemic, the restriction of physical contacts and interaction of people continuously affects the downward trend of crime incidents. Based on the data generated from the CIRAS, or the Crime Information Reporting and Analysis System, there is a very light increase in robbery incidents as against the previous week. Region 4A has shown the most number of increase of robbery incidents. Most of these robbery incidents are committed through breaking and entering or akyat bahay, inside homes, and or in commercial establishments such as groceries, convenience stores, warehouses, and one pharmacy. There is also a slight increase in carnapping of motor vehicles as against the previous week, as shown in the previous slides. Regions 1, 13, and NCR has shown an increase in carnapping incidents, each by one incident only. These vehicles were stolen while parked or unattended along streets, like in Regions 1 and 13, and one is forcibly taken along the residential area here in NCR. There is also an increase in carnapping of motorcycles as against the previous week. Region 10, Cordillera and NCR has shown an increase in carnapping of motorcycles. Region 1 from 1 to 6 incidents. Cordillera region increased to 3 incidents. And NCR from 3 to 6 incidents. Most of these motorcycles were stolen while parked unattended along the streets or are parked in unsecured parking areas. Next slide, please. A decrease in crime clearance and crime solution efficiencies for the comparative week is also noted based on the reports generated by the Sinas. There is an increase of both index and non-index crime incidents that are currently under investigation. An increase of 191 incidents or 62.42%, of which majority of the index crime incidents under investigations are murder, 45 out of the 155 incidents, robbery, 29 out of the 155 incidents, and theft, 23 out of 155 incidents. Most of these non-index crimes under investigation are violation of special laws that are to be filed in court. Mostly noted are RA 9185 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act. 81 out of the total 342 incidents are still under investigation, or 23.68%. RA 11332 or the mandatory reporting of notifiable diseases and health events of Public Health Concern Act, which is 23 out of the total 342 incidents under investigation, or 6.73%. And RA 10054 or the Motorcycle Helmet Act, which is out of the 559 incidents, 12 are still under investigation. Of this, the violations were noted in Cagayan PPO as a result of their continuous upland sita. And most of these suspects were released and will be charged through regular filing. And this will improve as a week, or the crime solution and efficiency and crime clearance will improve in the weeks as the week advances, with up to the minute improvement in the investigation of these incidents and with the eventual filing of cases before the prosecutor's office. That's all, sir, for my presentation. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
The next presenter will be from the Directorate for Operations. Now let me call on Police Major General Alfred Corpus, the Director for Operations. Sir.
Thank you. Brigadier General Ronnie Olay, our new Chief PIO, to our CPNP, Police General Debold Sinas, and our DCA, Police Lieutenant General Guillermo Lorenzo Eliazar, sirs, and other members of the directorial staff present and directors of NSUs, most especially to the director of PNPA and the top 10 graduating class of PNPA, hinirang class of 2021. And our media friends from the cyberspace, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Allow me to present to you the PNP's efforts in the implementation of the modified community quarantine in NCR Plus bubble area. And shown in the screen is the sequence of my presentation. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. Pursuant to IATF Resolution number 106-A, Series of 2021, which placed the provinces of Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, and Rizal, and the whole of NCR, or commonly known as NCR Plus Bubble, under Enhanced Community Quarantine, or ECQ, from March 29 to April 11, 2021, the PNP has established 71 quarantine control points along the borders of this bubble to ensure that only authorized persons outside residences or APORs are given access. The said QCPs aimed at curbing COVID-19 transmission are manned daily by 973 personnel from NCRPO, PRO3, and 4A. The same number of QCPs and personnel daily employment are maintained after the IATF eased the measures to MECQ last April 12, 2021. These QCPs are located in NCR, Bulacan, Laguna, Cavite, and Rizal. In addition to our quarantine control points, law enforcement checkpoints were also established within these areas to enforce stricter quarantine measures in relation to the implementation of the modified enhanced community quarantine. A total of 188 checkpoints are established with 1,706 personnel deployed daily. We have also dispatched social distance patrollers equipped with the Antox in places of convergence, such as markets and transport terminals, to enforce physical distancing, 1 meter distance between persons, and related safety protocols aimed at further ensuring compliance to the minimum public health standards. To ensure public safety and security during the implementation of the Philippine National COVID-19 Deployment and Vaccination Plan, we have also deployed 14,942 personnel to provide security during the transport of the vaccines all over the country. We have also deployed more than 8,309 personnel to secure various vaccination areas in our country. To assist essential individuals who are stranded in the bubble area due to limited transport, we have implemented the Libreng Sakay program utilizing our available vehicles to ferry them from their places of work to designated drop-off areas. To date, we have employed 2,889 vehicles with 7,385 personnel complement providing services to 31,071 individuals so far. Let me now show you the results of the implementation of MECQ. This is as of April 18, 2021. As of that date, we have recorded a total of 16,611 cases for violations of minimum public health standard from the start of the implementation of MECQ. The most violated public health standard is the non-wearing of face shields with 8,326 cases, or 50.1%, followed by non-wearing of face masks with 5,179 cases, or 31.2%. 47 cases for violation on mass gatherings were also recorded for the same period, while 1,601 cases were violations of social or physical distancing. There were also 1,458 cases recorded for violation of Republic Act 11332 or the mandatory reporting of notifiable diseases and health events of Public Health Concern Act. In addition to these measures that we have conducted, our established QCPs have denied 5,900 individuals entry into the NCR Plus bubble. Of these individuals, 3,370 of them claim to be APORs, but cannot produce any document to prove it. Likewise, the implementation of the Unified Curfew Hours in the NCR Plus bubble recorded a total of 12,628 persons accosted. Said violators were either warned, comprising of 7,766 cases, fined 4,268 cases, or recommended for community service, 594 cases. Most of these violations, representing 10,355 or 82%, occurred in National Capital Region. Assessment. The Department of Health has initially recorded a downtrend in COVID-19 cases since the JTF COVID Shield started implementing the stricter ECQ guidelines of the government on March 29, 2021. These measures have significantly aided the government in its response to contain the reproduction of COVID-19 cases. We therefore would like to appeal to the public to continue bearing with us, bearing with our deployed personnel. Let us all work together to support the government in lowering the COVID-19 infections by lessening our movements and by staying in our homes if we do not have any essential activities to do so. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Diyan po nagtatapos ang aking maikling presentation.
Thank you very much, sir. Next is the Director for Logistics, Police, Major General Angelito Casimiro, sir.
Thank you, General Olay. To our CPNP, Police General Debold Minoria Sinas, sir. To our DCA, Police Lieutenant General Guillermo T. LSR, sir. To our TDO, Police Major General Alfred S. Corpus. To the Director of the Philippine National Police Academy, Police Major General Armamento. And to the Director of Health Service, Brigadier General Chito Magnaye. Other officers, cadets, and media around, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. For the Directorate for Logistics, I'd like to present to you the donation from April 9 to April 15. For the Directorate for Logistics, we received donation coming from the PNP Foundation, PNP Maringal 88, the Department of Public Works and Highways. The bulk of it are the 50 sets of beds, hospital bed and foams, amounting to 600,000. This is being used for the expansion of our treatment facility inside the Philippine National Police headquarters. We also receive donation from Police Regional Office 3, from Valtreach Construction Company, for PRO Corps from the local government unit of Rizal Kalinga, for PRO 11, the Office of the City Mayor, for PRO 6 from Dr. Uy, Mr. Lu, and KJ Fairmart, Last April 10, we also received donation for PRO 11 from the Davao City Mayor's Office, the LGU of Mawab, LGU of New Bataan, LGU of Magsaysay, and PRO 1 from Mr. Abiliera, composed of PPEs, alcohol, and spray bottles. April 12, we received a donation for the province, for the regions of Procor, Pro 7, Pro 11, Pro 1, and Pro 6, coming from private individuals and LGU for PPEs. Last April 13, we also received donations from PRO 3, Procor 7, 11, and for the Philippine National Police Academy, which is the biggest, amounting to 28 million, composed of buses from Rural Transit Mindanao Incorporated and from the Armed Forces and Police Mutual Benefit Association Incorporated. April 14, from San Miguel Corporation for the health service, assorted food stuff, and Pro 11 from the LGUs. In April 15, we received no donation. So this is the summary of donated items for the Philippine National Police. For PRO 1, about 1,550 pesos. PRO 3, 60,270. PRO 6, 79,595. PRO 7, 200,763. PRO 11, 762,930. PRO Core, 14,820. Total of 1,119,928. We also have a total for the Directorate for Logistics of 640,850 pesos. For health service, 230,000 pesos. And for the Philippine National Police Academy, 26,731,291. A total of 27,602,141 for the headquarters and the PNPA. To total it, we receive a total of 28,722,069 pesos for the week. So I'd like to show you the pictures for PRO 1. Next slide, please. For PRO 3. Next slide. PRO 6. Next slide. PRO 7. PRO 11. For Procor. For Health Service. For the Directorate for Logistics. And the bulk for the Philippine National Police Academy. That ends my presentation, sir, and thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. The last presenter is Police Lieutenant General Guillermo Lorenzo Elizar, the Deputy Chief PNP for Administration, the ASCOT Commander. Sir.
Thank you, our PIO, General Olay. So to our Chief PNP, Police General Debold, Sinas, sir, to all the officers present here, the cadets, and to the members of the media, magandang umaga po sa atin lahat. So in the update of the COVID situation, on the first part, I will be briefing you on the updates and on the vaccination as well as on the details on our isolation facilities. The Director for Health Service, Police Brigadier General Chito Magdaye, will want to brief you on that. So our update is as of last midnight of April 18, 2021. Let's go to the first slide. As you can see from the slides, we have a total of 18,669 total number of cases, positive cases for the members of the PNP. And as of last night, the number of active cases is pegged at 2,228. 51 have died, and 16,390 recovered. Yesterday, the newly reported cases were 140, while 188 have recovered. Next slide. So this is the breakdown by category of these new cases, active cases, confirmed cases, and death. And we categorize this into four main categories: those who are assigned the national headquarters, those with the National Administrative Support Unit, the National Operational Support Unit, and the police regional offices. Next slide. So let me just take you in the details per category. For the national headquarters, the two cases reported yesterday came from one from the Directorate for Logistics and one from Directorate for Controllership. You can see from there also the active cases and the confirmed cases as well as the death. Next slide. For the next category of the National Administrative Support Unit, the four newly reported cases came from one from the Health Service, one from the Headquarters Support Service, and two from the Police National Training Institute. Next slide. And for the NOSU, the 13 cases came from two from Maritime Group, four from ABSI Group, three from SAF, two from CIDG, one from CSG, and one from the Drug Enforcement Group. And for the PROs, the 121 came from 29 from NCRPO, 32 from PRO2, 19 from PRO3, 7 from PRO4A, 4 from PRO4B, 2 from PRO6, 1 from PRO9, 1 from PRO11, 3 from PRO12, and 23 from Pro Cordillera. So this is now the reported cases yesterday. Mula kasi nagkaroon tayo ng surge noon, minabuti natin na alamin kung saan ba itong mga to. We divided this into three. First, of course, is in Metro Manila, the epicenter of this pandemic. Inalam natin kung ilan yung na-assign inside Camp Crame, inalam din natin kung ilan yung nasa labas ng outside Camp Crame, pero sa NCR, the rest of NCR, as well as, and then after that, the rest of the country, or the other 16 regions. This is by area. And out of the 140 newly reported cases yesterday, 27% of this is in here in Metro Manila, 38, with 102, 73% outside Metro Manila with that breakdown. Next slide. Out of the 140 newly reported cases yesterday, 2 were reinfection, while 138 were new cases. Next slide. So ito yung report kahapon. Para po sa kalaman ng lahat, yung nireport kahapon, hindi yan tested lang kahapon, pero kahapon lang nireport. And as you can see from there, ito ngayon yung mga dates kung saan sila na-collect. Collected yung sample and turned out to be positive. At makita natin dito, yung kahapon, yung nag-positive lang kahapon na reported to us, na tested kahapon, and these are actually here in Camp Crame kasi real time na kukuha natin, 4 lang yon. And the rest, nakita natin, bulk of which were tested on April 16, April 15, April 14. So, ang trend natin araw-araw, ganito, nagre-report tayo ng 100, 200, pero ito ngayon yung mga date of collection. So, we are adjusting din in our quota, na-adjust natin yan automatically based on the reports that we receive. Next slide. Now, let's go to the active cases. We are more concerned and focused on the active cases kasi yung daily cases natin, meron time, like on weekends, kukunti test natin. So, pero itong active cases, this is actually yung cases na minomonitor natin. Ito yung cases the other day, plus new cases na report, minus the recoveries. And as of last night, 2,228. 38 or 39% of which naandito sa Metro Manila. So, 12.8 yan, nasa Crame, while the 25.8% rest of NCR, while the bulk or 61% nasa other regions. It used to be, nung kasagsagan natin, itong early March na pagtaas, mas marami pa, more than 50% ang nasa Metro Manila. At yung iba nga is nandito sa Camp Crame. By the way, for the information of everybody, based on our 219,434 strength, ang strength ng naka-assign sa Metro Manila ay 18%. And the other regions outside Metro Manila, 82%. Pero yung active case natin ngayon, 38 or 39% of these active cases are here in Metro Manila. Talagang tumutugma that epicenter is here in Metro Manila. Next slide. Now, these 2,228, 88 of them are in hospital, but non-PNP managed. Ito yung mga hospital na napadala natin. While 2,140 nasa other isolation facilities, 1,085 of which are managed by the PNP, including here in Kiangan, pati na rin yung ating mga treatment facilities, which will be discussed in detail by Director of the Health Service, while 1,055 of our personnel are in other isolation facilities managed by LGUs, DOHs, and other entities. Next slide. Just to show you the demographics of these active cases, the 2,228, the bulk of which, 85% are PNCO, followed by PCO, 9.6%, and then we have 5% for the NUP and 0.5% for the cadets. So actually, balik muna natin. Ito kasi yung ganyan din naman talaga ang ating distribution on the strength of the almost 220,000. Ang PCO natin is 7%, ang PNCO is 87%, ang NUP is 5.5%, and cadet is 0.5% of the total strength of the PNP. So halos tumutugma by distribution. Next slide. Now, by gender, 77.6% are male and 22.5% is female. Well, basically, halos ganyan din naman ang distribution ng male and female personnel of the PNP. Next slide. By age, 42% or 42%, ito yung age ay 26 to 35. And yung 36 to 45 is 32%, while itong 18 to 25, 12.4%. Meron din tayo na 45 to 55% at 12.3, at merong 0.6% or 14, ito yung 56 to 65. Ibig sabihin, mga non-uniform personnel, dahil ang sa uniform personnel naman, retirement natin is upon reaching 56 years of age. Next slide. For the nature of work, 58% are on operation-related assignment, 34% administrative, and 7.8 still on validation. Next slide. For the symptomatology, 66.1% are asymptomatic, with mild symptoms, 25.4%, and symptomatic or severe, ito yung, well, we can say moderate, severe, and critical, na 0.4. I was trying to compare this with the general population, and based on the report of the DOH as of yesterday, out of the 936,133 active cases nationwide, alam nyo ba ang pinakamarami sa mga yon? And I monitoring that every day. Mild symptoms, 96.7. Yung asymptomatic lang is 1.7%. And the serious symptomatic or moderate, severe, and critical are 1.6%. So parang sa PNP, lumalabas based on this data na mas marami sa atin ang asymptomatic. Na kung ganyan talaga, mas mahirap. Kasi kung asymptomatic ka, if you are not subject of the testing, targeted or risk-based testing, and just like what the CPNP has been giving guidance to us, hindi mo malalaman na positive ka pala at ang tendency, makahawa ka ng iba. Pero, another thing naman is, baka naman ito kasi, pag in-interview, pulis kasi ayaw magsabi na symptomatic sila or mild. Kaya nag-asymptomatic, tinatago para hindi magtagal sa quarantine. But the health service is well checking on this so that the appropriate symptomatology could be recorded for our PNP personnel. Next slide. So for the comorbidity, 87% walang comorbidity sa ating mga 2,228, with 7.5 with comorbidity, 5.6 and other for validation. Basically, ganito rin naman yung overall 18,000 plus natin na mga PNP. Nag-focus lang tayo ngayon sa active cases. Next slide. So, ito naman yung graph natin since March of 2020. Active cases ang minomonitor natin kasi mas maganda siya rather than the the newly reported cases. And kung makikita natin dyan, last year, yung July, August, yan yung nagkaroon ng pagtaas sa halos lahat. Bumaba siya hanggang 500, less than 500, nitong ating this year. Pero sumirit ng March, just like what happened in Metro Manila. But, since ma-reach natin yung pinakataas na peak na 3,312, unti-unti siya bumaba hanggang maging 2,228 kahapon. Hopefully, tuloy-tuloy na itong trend nito. Next slide. I-focus natin for this year. Since January of this year, at nakita nga natin yan. Noon nga, bandang February, iniisip namin, hilahin pa natin. Dapat lesser reported infection, more recovery, para mas bumaba tayo sa active cases. Gusto natin sana, umabot ng 300 sa baba, pero sumirit nga siya pataas, but sa awan ng Diyos sa ngayon, and with all the interventions by the PNP through the guidance of our Chief PNP, unti-unti na siyang bumababa. Next slide. So, to give you the recap, 87.8% out of the total confirmed cases have recovered, 11.9% ang active cases, which used to be parang 5% lang yan, tumaas pa yan as high as 16%, pero ngayon 12% na lang, and death remains to be 0.3%. Next slide. So, kung makita natin dito na based on the strength, andyan yung percentage ng ating strength, the confirmed cases ngayon, overall sa atin sa PNP, 8.5%. With the NHQ, kahit kukunti lang, pinakamataas ang kanilang infection, followed by NASU of 17.6%, NOSU 14.5%, PRO 6.9%. So bypassing, yes, pakita natin sa inyo for better appreciation. Next slide. So ito yung bar graph na makikita natin. Itong I have shown you earlier, 8.5 yung average natin. Next slide. Punta tayo sa NHQ. Yan yung mga units natin. The strength versus the confirmed cases. Next slide. We can see from here the bar graph. Pinakamataas, 48.5% OTCDS, followed by DICTM 40%, and the Office of Chief PNP 38.8%. Next slide. For the NASU, the strength and confirmed cases, the average 17.6%. Next slide. Ayan, ang pinakamataas dyan is sa Headquarters Support Service with 27.4%, followed by LSS 24.2%, and the third one is ITMS 23.7%. For NOSU, average of which, next slide, for the graph, 14.5%, pinakamataas ang IMEG with 26.6% of its strength na nag-positive na, and then ABSI group 21.1%, followed by PSPG 19.6%. And for the PRO, the bulk of our strength, 6.9 ang average niya. NCRPO has the highest. 1 out of every 5 personnel of NCRPO have been infected already with COVID, followed by Pro Cordillera 9.6%, and then Propor A 9.2%. Probe 7, 8.5. Next slide. Just to update you on the PCR test, so far, 60.6% of our personnel have been tested already with that following breakdown. Next slide. That's the bar graph. Next slide. For NHQ, which is here in Camp Crame, next slide. Almost 100%. Lahat ng mga personnel natin nasa loob ng Crame ay halos lahat na test na. NASU. For NASU, halos ganun din. Sige, NASU. Pakita natin yung next, halos mataas din siya. Also with NOSU. Next slide. Yes, next slide. So, NASU and NOSU, their central offices are here in Camp Crame or in Metro Manila. That's why ang talagang epicenter here at Metro Manila, kaya yan ang laging tinetest natin. Next slide. And for the PRO, the average is 55.6%. Next slide. 2 regions, Pro 3 and Pro 4A, 100% of their strength, all the personnel have been tested at least once. Followed by NCRPO, 99.8%, and Pro Cordillera, 83.7%. Well, Pro 1, 86.3%, and Cordillera, 83.7%. Average, 55.6%. Next slide. So, Ito kasi yung tinutukan natin nung simula, the intention or the instruction of the CPNP is for the epicenter here in Metro Manila, kung pwede paulit-ulitin matest natin, lalo na at makita natin na ang daming asymptomatic. And ayan na, 99% of the personnel based in Metro Manila, inside Krame, rest of NCR, and outside Camp Krame, NCRPO, ay yan na. Next slide. Almost 100%. Next slide. So 60% have been tested, 132,000. Next slide. That is the number of personnel. But for the number of tests conducted, kasi may mga personnel tayo na more than once matest, we have 215,432 tests conducted to all the, for the PNP personnel. Next slide. So to give you a recap, out of the 219,434, the percentage of category over PNP population, 60.6% have been tested already, and resulting to 8.5 of our personnel confirmed to have been infected with COVID-19. So that's all for my presentation, and let us have the Director of the Health Service for some details on the vaccination effort of the PNP, as well as the details on the isolation, quarantine, and treatment facilities that we manage. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John. To our beloved Chief PNP, Police General Debold Sinas, sir, and our TDCA and Squad Commander, Police Lieutenant General Guillermo Lorenzo Illasar, sir, to the members of the Directorates, the Directorate for Logistics, Major General Lito Casimiro, sir, and Director for Operation, Major General Alfred Corpus, sir, the Director of PNP and other members and representatives of the Directorates, other officers, PNP cadets, friends from media. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. I will be reporting the vaccination updates of PNP as shown. Next slide. As you can see in the slide, we have a total of 9,049 PNP personnel who were vaccinated as of this morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. Out of the 9,508 registered, we have 426 na no-go po. Out of the 9,049 who were vaccinated, merong 731 na naka-incurred po ng adverse effect following immunization. Then 424 were vaccinated by the DOH, and from the LGU we have 2,384. And out of this number, the strength of the PNP is 219,434. Go back to the previous slide, please. We have only 9,049 who were vaccinated, and we still have 210,385 personnel who were not yet vaccinated, giving us 4.12%. Yun lang pong mga personnel natin na nabakunahan. Nationwide po yan. Next slide. And out of this figure, the 9,049, broken down as shown, in the national headquarters, we only have 70. Next slide. For the National Administrative Support Unit, we have 1,438. Next slide. For the National Operations Support Unit, we have 443. And for the different PROs, next slide, we have 17,098. And
All in all, for the 9,049 vaccinated, 7,152 were inoculated by Sinovac vaccines, 1,892 AstraZeneca, 3 Moderna, and 2 Pfizer. Baka magtaka kayo, bakit meron tayong Moderna and Pfizer? At dumating pa lang sa atin is Sinovac and AstraZeneca. Our data for Moderna and Pfizer, ito po yung mga personnel natin na nakadeploy po sa labas ng Pilipinas. These are the personnel po natin ng mga police attaché. Na 5 pa lang po yung nababakunahan. Next. Then for the status of the PNP quarantine facilities or isolation facilities, next slide. As shown po, medyo maliliit lang po yung mga figure. Inside Camp Crame, we have a total of bed capacity 266. Ito po yung tinatawag natin na Kiangan Emergency Treatment Facility inside Camp Crame. At dahil doon sa nangyaring absurd last March, that with our CPNP's initiative, that we expanded yung ating pong treatment facility. Nandyan po yung ating tennis court. Ito po yung ating triads, including yung poolside. To cater yung ating pong mga patients bago po sila dalhin doon sa iba't ibang facilities. Sila po yung magdidetermine kung saan dadalhin yung ating mga COVID patients. Then, kasama po yung ating Provident, Taekwondo, and DITA. These are part po ng Kiangan Emergency Treatment Facilities. And we're calling this an extension wards, ditong pong Kiangan. Then we also have Ultra, PICC, and NCRPO. Kung mapapansin nyo po, napakaraming facilities within the NCRPO. Ito po yung mga facilities na nakakalat sa mga different districts at minamanage po ng ating mga personnel ng health service sa NCRPO. We have a total of 1,527 bed capacity for NCR alone. Ito po yung PNP managed facility. And right now, meron po tayong available beds na 775. Out of that number, 715, yun po yung sabihin nating nagamit po ng ating mga pasyente. Next slide. Then we have also isolation and quarantine facilities in the different regions nationwide, broken down as shown in this slide. We have a total of 173 managed quarantine facilities. And other facilities of 606, ito po yung mga minamali sa mga LGUs, other agencies. And with these isolation facilities or quarantine facilities, we have a total number of 2,996 bed capacities. And ang occupied lang po dito ay 606. Remaining 2,390, hindi lang po ito yung intended para sa mga PNP personnel. Kasama rin po dito yung mga civilians. Yung mga patients coming from the different LGUs. Next slide. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Health Service. Before we proceed to the next part of the program, I would like to make a report on the very unfortunate vehicular accident in Kalinga. On April 18, 2021 at around 2:30 in the afternoon, in Barangay Bulo, Tabuk City, Kalinga, a vehicular accident happened involving a black Ford Everest SUV driven by Soy Lope Agtulaw, which fell in an irrigation canal, resulting in the multiple drowning of 13 victims, mostly children. There were 15 passengers of the vehicle. The driver also died. Among the victims, there were 6 adults who drowned and 7 other children aged 3 to 6 years old. 2 other survivors are in the hospital in stable condition. Pro Cordillera is now investigating the cause of the accident. Thank you. At this juncture, with the permission of the CPNP, we will proceed to the question and answer portion of the program, sir. Yesterday, we consolidated the questions coming from the PNP Press Corps. I will be reading the questions and will refer them to the concerned staff or offices for the answers. So, the first question comes from Lloyd Kaliwan of the Philippine News Agency. This is addressed to the CPNP himself, sir. When will he submit his recommendation to his successor as the next CPNP? Also, who will take the place of General Binag as DCO, who is set to retire on April 24?
Thank you, Roland.
Yes, sir.
First, we will wait. It's the SILG that will recommend to the CPNP kung sino po yung mag-next CPNP. No? I-recommend po ni SILG yun sa Presidente, kay PRRD, then the President will select doon kung sino po, and he will designate the new CPNP. As to the position of DCO, the Deputy Chief PNP for Operations, General Binag will retire on April 24, 2021. So just a few days from now. And we have informed and recommended to SILG that the current TCDS, Lieutenant General Jojo Veracruz, will be elevated to the positions of DCO and will take over from General Cesar Binag. And the incoming Chief of the Directorial Staff will be the newly promoted DIPO Northern Luzon, Police Lieutenant General Ephraim Dixon. Siya po ang papalis as TCDS and he belongs to Class 87. Ang papalit naman sa kay Bong Dixon sa DIPO Northern Luzon will be the current Chief of the Chief of the Human Resource Development Doctrine na si si Major General Manny Abu. So yun po ang changes natin na gagawin, and hopefully this will be implemented on April 20, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. The next question of Lloyd Kaliwan is addressed to the Health Service. It says here, real-time update on number of vaccinated caps versus target figure. Director Health Service, please.
Actually, it was already included in my presentation, but out of the total strength of the PNP, yun pa lang yung ating mga nababakunahan, yung 9,049, but definitely all the PNP personnel, yung 219,434 will be vaccinated. We'll just wait dun sa mga darating pa pong mga vaccines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Health Service. Sir, the next set of questions comes from Ann Soberano of Bombo Radio. His first question says, General Sinas, sir, recently, nagpulong kayo with the AFP Chief General Cirilito Subihana during the National Joint Peace and Security Coordinating Council. Naging maganda ang coordination and collaboration ng PNP at AFP, lalo na sa kampanya laban sa local terrorists and communist terrorists. Pero how about po sa coordination, lalo na po kung may kanya-kanyang operasyon na isinasagawa ang PNP at AFP para maiwasan ang misencounter of friendly fire. May mga binago, tinanggal po ba kayo sa mga SOPs and protocols na sa tingin nyo hindi naging effective para sa PNP and AFP? This is directed to the Director of Operations, sir.
Ako ma. I'll answer first before the
Yes, sir.
DO. First, we have indeed a meeting with the JPSC, with our counterpart with the AP. As to the coordinations ng operations, ay established na po yung protocol noon. So we have already made strengthened the coordinating mechanism na hindi basta-basta mag-operate ang PNP sa CNN area without the coordinations of the AEP. Now, ang AEP naman, ang lead agency para against the CNN at saka local terrorist group, ay nagko-coordinate po yan. Kung dito naman sa mga urban centers, when we are dealing in the implementation of search warrant and warrant of arrest, kung malaki po ang presence ng AEP doon, ay nagko-coordinate po kami sa kanila at sa mga ibang law enforcement agencies para po maiwasan ang mga misencounter. Now, so far, in our joint operations in Police Regional Office 8, Police Regional Office 6 and 7, sa Samar and Negros Island, at saka sa Region 5 and the rest of Mindanao, naiwasan na po namin yung misencounter. Ito po ay pagpatuloy naming dialogue at coordination at kooperasyon sa counterpart namin sa AP, ay naiwasan po ang mga casualties in misencounter. Ang Director for Operations po natin dito ay magpapaliwanag lalo sa mga specific directives na in-approve po namin kasama po ang AEP. Go ahead, Bo.
Thank you, sir. Tama po yung sinabi ng ating mahal na Chief PNP. Last week, nagkaroon po tayo ng National Joint Peace and Security Coordinating Center or Council meeting. No, it was attended by no less than our Chief PNP, Police General Debold Sinas, and the Chief of Staff himself, Police General Cirilito Sobihana. And yes, the protocols was established even before, no, pinaigting lang namin yung aming ugnayan at marami po kaming napagkasunduan during that meeting. One of those is that we will the conduct of accommodating the armed forces in the training of the Philippine National Police and vice versa, accommodating the Philippine National Police to the trainings of the armed forces of the Philippines. An example of the training that was mentioned or was agreed upon was the training for training on investigation. No, because in incidents, encounter incidents or operations, in certain areas, unang nakakarating yung ating mga members ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. And it's very important that the evidences in that incident must be preserved. Kaya kinakailangan ma-orient natin o mabigyan natin ng training yung mga sundalo para po hindi nila ma-contaminate yung ating mga evidences in the crime scene area. Sa atin naman pong mga kapulisan, ano naman po ang pwede nating makuhang training sa ating AFP? Of course, alam po natin na the PNP is now embarking on capability enhancement. Example, yung ating pong air unit ay nagdadagdag ng mga choppers. In due time, magkakaroon po tayo ng 18 choppers sa Philippine National Police. At importante po na yung itong mga piloto natin ay matutunan kung paano magpalipad ng choppers tactically, kumbaga, which is not, hindi masyado po tinuturo ito nung counterparts natin na kung saan natin binili itong mga choppers na to, no? But we believe na pwede tayong turuan ng Armed Forces of the Philippines, particularly ng Philippine Air Force in this matter. So, yun po yung mga napag-usapan namin kahapon, and also we agreed na magkaroon po ng konting pagbabago doon sa joint campaign plan na kapanatagan, and also dapat kasunduan rin po na patuloy, despite na meron tayong pandemic, patuloy po namin itutuloy po namin yung aming yung Joint Peace and Security Coordinating Council meetings, hindi lamang po sa level ng national, pati po sa regional at saka sa provincial level. Yun lamang po. Magandang umaga.
Maraming salamat po, sirs. Ang pangalawang tanong ni Ann Soberano ay, mainit ang issue ngayon sa West Philippine Sea dahil sa Chinese intrusion. Alam naman natin na ang assets ng Navy ay kakaunti lamang. Ano po ba ang may ambag ng PNP sa ganitong issue? Kaya po ba ng PNP Maritime na tumulong at magpatrolya sa ating exclusive economic zone? Sakaling hilingin po ang tulong ng PNP Maritime Group, nakahanda po ba ang PNP na tumulong? Director Maritime, please.
I will answer first.
Yes, sir.
For the Director Maritime. Of course, ang PNP po ay palagi pong sumusuporta sa AEP sa lahat ng threat ng ating bansa, no? Lahat ng mga banta laban sa ating bansa. Now, ang unang nakatalaga diyan ay ang yung Philippine Navy. Kami naman ay handa pong sumuporta doon sa kanila para po pangalagaan yung karapatan natin sa West Philippine Sea. Una-una, anong maitulong natin ay yung Coastal Patrol po. Kaya po ng Maritime Group natin yung Coastal Patrol at magkipagtulungan po kami. Pangalawa, yung exchange po ng intelligence, no? Magtutulong kami sa intelligence gathering within the coastal area, at ang pangatlo ay pagmumonitor ng mga lumalapit po sa mga lugar natin, no? Kasi yun po ang pinakauna natin. At lahat po kami ay sumusuporta sa programa po ng EEP para po bantayan po ang mga island po natin sa West Philippine Sea. The Director Maritime could add up more regarding their assets, kung ano po meron kami para po pang suporta in case kailangan po ng AEP ang suporta at tulong namin. Go ahead, Mitch.
Thank you, sir. To sirs and mesdames, good morning. With regard to the questions of Ann Soberano of Bombo Radio, first I would address the first question that we are always supporting the Philippine Navy and of course all the government agencies that has concern over the issues in West Philippine Sea. And for specific, we are having a always meeting with the National Task Force West Philippine Sea, chaired by Secretary Esperon. And in this venue, we are collaborating and cooperating with one another as regards to the issue of West Philippine Sea. And also, we are one of the members of the National Coast Watch Council, wherein all the member agencies are sharing informations and intelligence information. And with regard also to the questions, if we are capable of patrolling the West Philippine Sea, we as of the moment we have these smaller boats that are capable of patrolling up to the contiguous zone only, and that is 24 nautical miles from the archaeologic baselines. So hanggang doon lang po kami sa ngayon because we have no bigger boats. But the PNP Maritime Group is very willing to patrol the exclusive up to the exclusive economic zone. That is why we have this wish list to have a bigger ships. And also kung tutulong yung PNP Maritime Group kung kinakailangan, yes, we are very willing to help on this endeavor because actually, as a matter of fact, we are now conducting regularly the coastal patrol, seaborne patrol in the areas of Region 1, Region 3, Region 4B, and Palawan. And these areas are facing West Philippine Sea. And we have also a plan to deploy our SOU in Pag-asa Island to augment the current forces of the government. And rest assured that your police force, under the leadership of our Chief Philippine National Police, General Debold Sinas, through the PNP Maritime Group, is committed to assist or help the endeavor of the government, especially of the Philippine Navy, Philippine Coast Guard, BFAR, and other government agencies who are collaborating with regard to national interest and maritime law, peace, and order. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Maritime. Sir, the next set of questions comes from Eunice Hilario of Filipino Mirror. PNPA. Considering this is the first time a graduating class has spent the entire last year at the academy under lockdown, has their class trainings suffered because of this?
Yes, once again, good morning to our CPNP, sir. Yes, Eunice, thank you, salamat sa tanong mo. Alam mo, lahat naman tayo ay nagsuffer sa epekto ng pandemic. And doon nga na patunayan natin na ang mundo ay hindi ready doon sa pangyayaring ito. And even yung mga malalaking eskwelahan and universities, tinamaan din. Yeah. However, for the PNPA, madali kami nakapag-adjust at nakapag-responde on our learning system to this new normal. In-implement namin yung blended learning. Katulad din ng other universities and colleges. Yung aming mga professors, yung aming mga subject matter experts ay na-retrain namin so that makakope up with a new situation. So in the academy, in-adapt namin yung bubble system per guidance of our CPNP. Yung mga subject matter experts namin nasa loob naman ng Camp Castañeda. Yung mga nasa labas, yun yung mga nag-online. And then to make sure na talagang matututo yung mga kadete namin even though they are online, meron kaming system to counter-check. Meron kaming recorded lecture, meaning yung professor or subject matter expert ay nire-record earlier yung kanyang lecture. Afterwards, sila nagkakaroon ng evaluations. So yun yung mga ginagawa namin so that mabilis na naka-adjust, mabilis kaming nakapag-adapt in the new normal situations. So in the PNPA, hindi kami nagkaroon ng malalim na problema. Naka-adapt kami kaagad dito. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director PNPA. This is a follow-up question from Eunice. Considering that we may have to live with the pandemic for quite some time, have you made adjustments in the training to make policemen more adaptable to the situation, like in dealing with quarantine situations?
Yes, katulad ng sinabi ko, naka-adjust kami kaagad with this new learning so that dire-diretso lang yung training ng ating mga kadete. And we reinforce yung aming ICT, yung information technology infrastructure para maalo yung distance learning. Kasi nga yung face-to-face program natin ay hindi kasi challenge sa atin. So that to make sure na lahat ng kadete ay matututo dahil nga naka-online, through the instruction of our CPNP, we designated yung tinatawag na facilitator. Yung facilitator, siya yung mga PNCOs ito na na-trained ng ating DINOP academics to be there while the class or session is ongoing, so that ma-ensure natin na lahat ay alert, lahat ay nakikinig, at lahat ay gumagawa ng mga tasking na ibinibigay ng bawat subject matter experts natin. So for the cadets who are on quarantine, likewise, binigyan din namin sila ng ng mga learning materials for them to comply afterwards. At katulad din ang ginagawa ng ibang eskwelahan, ibang universities, meron din silang interactions na ginagawa, and of course, nakaklarify din nila sa mga professors, binibigyan sila ng pagkakataon na makapagtanong, makapag-comment. So, all of those things ay hindi kami naapektuhan, especially during this quarantine period. Doon naman sa aming, kung tinatanong mo yung receiving community policing instructions, yes, ganun din. Although complex nga yung situations, nakapag-adapt din yung ating mga professors at mga subject matter experts. So, wala kaming naging problema. I have with me my DINOP academics, si Colonel Hinyorga. Siguro si Angel can add to this. Angel, please.
Thank you, sir. Good morning po sa ating mahal na CPNP at sa ating mga senior officers, sa lahat po na nakikinig sa media at ang mga kasamahan. Good morning po. Yes, our director is very true in saying that we have responded and adjusted quickly to the course of time, because we have to make sure the continuity of learning and training of our cadets, to develop them into a better or best officers when they assume their position in the PNP, BFP, and BJMP. We retooled and retrained our professors. We adjusted our standard learning package, and we developed further our class facilitators to aid the professors who are delivering their lectures online or at distance learning. We also want to upgrade the skills of these facilitators by training them with the instructors development course, and we thank the director of the training service for his approval for this course for our class facilitators, and also we thank the GPNP for assigning more class facilitators in such a way that there should be one dedicated class facilitator for every section of each class. For example, we have 10 sections for class 24, and we are assigning 10 dedicated facilitators. We will develop them as assistant instructors to help our professors. And ito po ay continuing activity during summer. There are lined up activities to further develop our professors and our facilitators to enhance their skills in delivering this new kind of training system. We are anticipating a prolonged pandemic situation. That's why we have to be ready and equipped. Thank you po.
Thank you. Let me first acknowledge the presence of Police Lieutenant General Cesar Hawthorne Binag, the Deputy Chief, PNP for Operations. Thank you for coming, sir. Open mo na si sir. Another question, ano po ba ang personal assessment ng PNP leadership sa pag-handle ng mga pulis sa nag-viral na video noong April 16 sa Fairview, Quezon City, doon sa may dalang panaksak? Salamat po.
Dio?
TDO po, sir.
Okay, maganda po ang naging pagtugon ng ating kapulisan doon sa nasabing insidente, Nag-observe sila ng maximum tolerance dahil nakita nyo naman po yung video, at sapat na puwersa lamang ang kanilang ginamit para po mapatigil or matigil ang mga suspects. Nakita din po natin na kontrolado nila ang sitwasyon, kaya hindi po ito nag-escalate, hindi po lumala yung insidente, no? So, kami po ay natutuwa, ang ating pong Chief PNP ay natuwa at sa naging reaksyon ng ating mga kapulisan doon sa ng QCPD in particular doon po sa insidente doon sa Fairview. And we'd like to commend them for their noteworthy assistance or doon sa pangyayari pong yan. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, sir. At marami rin pong pumuri sa social media, sir. Maris Umali of GMA7 sent 5 questions, sir. Her first question. Bakit marami pa rin po kaya ang nagbabiolate sa protocols? Kakulangan sa resources? Katigasan ng ulo or hanggang ngayon kulang pa rin ang kaalaman ng publiko sa impormasyon? TDO, sir.
Okay. Marami pong dahilan kung bakit meron pa tayong mga violators. Sinabi naman po kasi natin na as long as essential yung iyong paglabas dun sa inyong bahay, pwede po kayong lumabas. Okay? Unfortunately, dahil marami pong kailangan maghanap buhay, marami pong dapat na kumilos para po sila kumain. Unfortunately, marami rin naman pong nagbabiolate pa rin kahit na-allow na po natin yung ganong sitwasyon. Ano po. Pero kung titingnan po natin at susuriin po yung ating trending ngayon, kung ang titingnan lamang natin is yung sitwasyon dito sa NCR Plus bubble, makikita po natin na bumababa po yung mga nahuhuli o nasisita. I stand corrected. Yun ating pong nasisita ng ating mga kapulisan. So, ibig sabihin po noon, dalawa lamang po ang ibig sabihin noon. No? Ibig sabihin, maaaring kumukonti na yung mga lumalabas ng bahay. So, ibig sabihin, may epekto na po yung ginagawa ng ating mga kapulisan sa ating mga kalsada, or pwede rin po nating sabihin na sumusunod na yung mga taong bayan doon sa mga hinihiling natin at ang kautusan ng ating IATF na kailangan po when you are outside of your residence and even inside your residence, dapat po ay mag-practice tayo ng minimum public health standard. At katulad po ng pinakita ko doon sa ating aking report kanina, dahil po doon sa mga bagay na yon ay nakikita rin po natin na ang downtrend ng ating COVID cases dito sa NCR Plus bubble. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, sir. Masasabi bang mas magandang pag-encourage sa pagsunod sa protocols ay positive reinforcement? Ito ay hindi parusa kundi reward sa mga susunod. Health Service.
Pakiulit yung tanong mo ba?
Masasabi bang mas magandang pag-encourage sa pagsunod sa protocols ay positive reinforcement? Yun ay hindi parusa kundi reward sa mga susunod.
Depende dun sa positive enforcement na ginagawa natin, lalo na kung walang mga physical na pamamaraan, kagaya ng ginagawa natin dito sa atin sa kapulisan. Pinapatupad natin yung ating mga minimum health standard protocol sa ating mga kasama. At ganoon din yung ating mga kasama na nagpapatupad din ng kanilang mga tungkulin, gawain sa kanilang mga iba't ibang lugar. Yun lang po.
Salamat. Pang-apat ay, paano naman natin sinisiguro na hindi nasusunod na ito ng lahat ng mga pulis down to the station level at hindi mauulit yung may namatay na violator dahil pinagpumping di umano. CDO, sir.
Salamat po. Okay, alam nyo po, para po sa kaalaman ng lahat, araw-araw po ang ating pong JTF COVID Shield ay nagsasagawa ng kritik kasama ng lahat ng mga units involved, pati po yung mga Deputy Regional Directors or DRDOs ng NCRPO, ng PRO3 at PRO4A. Kasama po yung mga provincial directors ng Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna at Rizal. At dito po ay inaalam ng ating DCO at ako po bilang kanyang deputy kung ano po ang isinagawa ng ating mga kasamang kapulisan
400.
karaang araw doon po sa deployment at kung ano po yung naging resulta ng kanilang operations dito po sa ating COVID situation. Ito rin po ang venue kung saan namin dinidiscuss kung ano po yung mga issues and concerns na nalalaman po at nakakarating po sa amin at kasama nga po itong isang insidente na ito. Ang ibig ko pong sabihin ay hindi po nagkukulang yung ating pong liderato dito po sa PNP at yung pong ibang mga pinuno natin sa field para po paalalahanan yung ating mga tauhan na nagsasagawa ng mga nagpapatupad nitong ating mga kautusan sa baba, at palagi po namin silang nire-remind kung ano po ang dapat nilang gawin at tinatanong rin po namin sila kung ano yung kanilang mga concerns para po masagot po namin ng mabuti at mabigyan po sila ng guidance. Kasama rin po dito ay nire-require po namin sila na bawat deployment, kailangan meron pong pre-deployment briefing para po bawat isang tao na madi-deploy doon sa ating mga QCPs o doon sa ating mga law enforcement checkpoints ay alam po ang kanilang mga gagawin at hindi po sila magkamali. Baka po meron pong gustong sabihin rin po ang ating DCO tungkol dito.
Magandang tanghali po sa ating lahat at sususugan ko lang yung sinabi ng ating TDO kung paano ho yung ating approach ngayon sa pag-implement nag-una ng ating ECQ tapos itong MECQ sa pagtupad ng tinatawag natin na commander's intent na ibinigay sa amin ng aming hepe si General Sinas na ang sabi niya nga yung pagpapatupad natin ay dapat flexible. Kasi nga kakaiba ngayon yung ECQ sa yung naging MECQ dahil bukas ang ating ekonomiya, mayroong mga social activities na bukas, kaya dapat ang pulis talagang nakaka-adapt kami sa panawagan ng pagkakataon na na-achieve pa rin natin yung ating objective doon sa ECQ. At salamat nga sa pakipagtulungan ng publiko kasi yung binanggit ni TDO kanina na sa positive side, makita nyo, yes, may nahuhuli tayo pero kung titignan nyo, yung number of activities, number of vehicles na nawala sa kalye. May panukat kami dyan sa SLEX, sa NLEX, talagang bumagsak yan. Ibig sabihin, sumunod ang ating mga publiko. Substantially, sumunod sila. At dito na didiscuss namin daily, yung mga challenges, mga issues, plus, higit sa lahat, yung mga comment ng publiko na sa pamamagitan naman ng aming Chief PIO, dati si General Usana at ngayon si General Olay, nagbi-briefing siya doon, sir, eto po lahat ngayon ang suma ng mga komento ng publiko at suggestions para mapabuti pa natin ang pagpapatupad. Isa nga ho dyan yung traffic. Kaya kung mapansin nyo, in-adjust namin agad yung traffic, nagkaroon kami ng nagkaroon tayo ng tinatawag natin na window hours for our essential workers, yung ating economic highway na dadaanan nila. Kaya nasolve ho natin yung traffic na yan. Tapos pag natapos na ho yung window na yon, tuloy-tuloy na naman yung usual na paghihigpit natin do sa pag-implement ng MECQ. Responsive ho, yun ang inutos ng ating CPNP, maging flexible at syempre na hindi natin mako-compromise yung objective ng MECQ. At makita naman ho natin kung susumahin natin, sabi nga ho ng mga eksperto, yung reproduction number ng COVID dito sa bumabaho siya sa 1 point something ata 2 or 3 from 1.9. So ito ay isang indikasyon na pag-limit ho ng mobility ng mga tao ay napababa yung COVID. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, sir. TDO, sir, na kahit ilang araw lamang ay retirement na, ay nagtatrabaho pa rin, sir. Ang panglimang katanungan ay naka-address po sa DIDM. Ano na po ang update sa mga pulis na na-relieve after the case of the death of a quarantine violator matapos ipag-pumping? EXO DIDM.
Thank you, sir. Thank you sa nagtanong si Ms. Maris Umali of GMA. Pertaining to this case, as instructed by our Chief of the Philippine National Police, 3 of the personnel were already administratively charged and 2 were exonerated. Ang 3 personnel na ito, yung isa is yung hepe ng General Trias City Police Station, is charged under pre-charge investigation for less grave neglect of duty kasi for failure to take corrective action either before or during the incident. Ang dalawang kasama niya are 2 non-commissioned officers, also under pre-charge investigation for grave misconduct resulting to homicide, and another case of grave or less grave neglect of duty for failure to comply with lawful orders. And yung pangatlo, si Corporal John under pre-charge investigation for failure to rush to the nearest hospital. And yung dalawa naman nakasama nila because 5 po dito ang magkakasama. Yung dalawa are exonerated and the complaint against them were dropped and closed. And as mentioned by our TDCO and TDO, hindi po kinokondone ng PNP ito, and we are still continuing the investigation, and these are now for summary hearing proceedings and are still with the PHAW of Pro 4A po. Maraming salamat, sir.
Maraming salamat, Colonel John Gregorio ng DIDM. Ang sumunod na nagpadala ng kanyang mga katanungan ay si Lea Ilagan ng UNTV. Yung incident noong Friday sa Fairview na isang lalaki ang nanaksak ng mga kasamahan sa loob ng sasakyan. Sa video po, hinahabol na rin ng saksak ng suspek ang mga pulis. Pero umiiwas lang ang pulis na may dalang baril. Base sa POP o yung Police Operational Procedures, tama po ba ang ginawa ng mga pulis? TDO, sir.
Yes, tulad po ng sinabi ko kanina, tama po yung reaksyon o responde ng ating mga kapulisan. Dahil po, unang-una, nasabdu naman po nila yung insidente without any harm from the suspects, without actually harming the suspects. Ganun naman po ang sinasabi natin sa ating police operational procedures, Kung hindi naman po natin, kung kaya naman po nating isubdue yung ating mga suspects in a matter that hindi kailangan masaktan o hindi kailangan masaktan yung ating mga suspects, gawin po natin yun, Ang ginamit pong sandata ng ating mga suspects ay knife. So tama lamang po na hindi naman po kinakailangan barilin ng ating mga kasama yung sa ganong sitwasyon. So Actually, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, tama po yung reaksyon ng ating mga pulis doon sa Fairview incident.
Maraming salamat, sir. Ang pangalawang katanungan po ay, hindi po ba sa ganitong sitwasyon, posibleng manganib ang mga tao sa paligid kasi di agad na neutralize ang suspect na may patalim? Thanks po. Dio, sir.
Hindi po, sa tingin namin, dahil although wala kami doon sa sitwasyon ngayon, pero sa tingin ko, yung ating mga pulis doon, alam nila na kontrolado nila yung sitwasyon, no? So, alam nila na hindi nanganganib yung mga taong nasa paligid nila, no? Sa tingin ko naman, kung nakikita nila na nanganganib na at maapektuhan yung ibang tao, ay iba rin yung kanilang naging reaksyon doon sa sitwasyon na yun.
Maraming salamat, sir. Ito po ay naka-address kay sa mahal nating hepe ng pulisya. Sir, CSILG po, mag-recommend ng 3 pangalan sa Pangulo para sa susunod na Chief PNP. May recommendation din po ba si General Sinas kung sino ang papalit sa kanya after May 8? Ilan po? Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, Leia. Sorry po, hindi po ako magre-recommend kasi wala po sa authority ko mag-recommend. CSILG lang po ang magre-recommend. Lahat naman po kami ay susunod sa kautusan ng presidente natin, ng SILG natin, at kung sino po ang napupusuan at pipiliin ng presidente, sigurado ko iyon po ang pinakamagaling sa amin. Huwag po kayo mag-alala, lahat naman po ng mga members ng command group and staff ay capable at skilled na mamumuno ng PNP po. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, sir. The last set of question comes from 3rd Ann Malonzo ng Sunstar. Una, kumusta po ang mga quarantine centers ng PNP outside and inside Camp Crame? Can we have stats po ng actual bed capacity versus occupancy? Director Head Service, please.
Actually po yung katanungan na yan, kasama na doon sa aking report na ipinesent kanina, na kung saan meron tayong mga managed na isolation and quarantine facilities inside Camp Crame. Ito yung Kiangan Emergency Treatment Facility na in-expand po natin. At within the NCR area, kasama na po dyan yung nasa loob ng NCRPO at sa mga iba't ibang district. At meron din po, binanggit ko kanina yung regarding sa PICC, ultra na minamanage din po natin. At meron pa rin po tayong plano na mag-expand ng ating mga facility, and for the actual figure po, ulitin ko lang po yung aking nabanggit kanina sa aking presentation. Yung total bed capacity po natin within NCR is we have 1,527. Ito po yung managed by the PNP. Ang occupied po right now is 715. Kaya meron tayong available bed pa na 775. At sa mga iba't ibang area naman po, nabanggit ko rin kanina sa aking presentation, na nationwide, managed po ito ng mga different police regional offices natin, na meron tayong 173 facilities. And aside doon sa 173 facilities, meron pa pong other facilities na managed by the different agencies or LGU na 606, with the total bed capacity po na 2,996. Ang occupied lang po is 606 at merong available beds na 2,390. Idagdag na po yung binanggit ko within the NCR, at wag naman po sanang maging o maokupahan pa ng mga kasama natin at ng mga ibang kababayan natin. Yung pong binanggit ko ng mga facilities sa mga iba't ibang rehiyon po ay hindi lamang para sa ating kapulisan, bagkus kasama po dyan yung ating mga sabihin natin mga civilians na mga COVID patients po in a different localities. Ito po yung mga pinapadala ng mga iba't ibang LGUs. Yun lang po.
Maraming salamat, Director Health Service. Ang susunod na katanungan ay nakatuon pa rin sa Health Service. Yung mga pulis po ba na na-deploy sa checkpoints during the 2-week ECQ, na-swab na sila? Can we have numbers po if ilan sila? Ilan na swab test? Ilan nag-positive? And papaano po yon since the police po were top pa rin sa pamimigay ng ayuda, considering na marami na rin po sa inyo ang nagkaka-COVID?
Patungkol po doon sa katanungan na doon po sa mga tao natin na mga nagmaman po ng mga checkpoint, hindi ko po masasagot yung actual dahil unang-una po ang nagmamanage po ng ating mga checkpoints sa mga different units po natin na nasa baba. But sinisiguro po namin na itong mga kasama natin, lalong-lalo na yung mga nasa front lines, sila po yung binibigyan natin ng palaga na mapabilang po doon sa mga pinaswasob natin o yung RT-PCR. Ito yung kabilin-bilin po ng ating CPNP na lahat po ng kapulisan ay maswab po. At nang sa gayon po ay malaman natin, lalong-lalo na po yung mga asymptomatic at matulungan po natin sila na ginagawa. The actual figure po was presented by our TDCA and ASCOT commander a while ago. I-verify ko lang po ulit yung bilang. Nasa lahat-lahat po ng mga kapulisan natin na ang bigyan na po natin, sabihin natin dumaan na po na naswab ng RT-PCR, ay meron na po tayong bilang na 38,410. Sa kabuuan po yan. Dito sa loob ng NCR at dito po sa loob ng Krami meron tayong 10,379. Outside Camp Krame na 5,549 na kabilangan. At sa kabuuan po ng bilang ng hanay ng kapulisan na 219,434. Meron na po tayong 86,538 ng mga kasamahan na nabigyan po, sabihin natin dumando sa RT-PCR test, which is an equivalent of 39.4% of our total strength. And right now, we are still accommodating and catering doon po sa mga personnels natin na nasa malalayong lugar. And kagaya po dito sa Camp Krame, ine-extend na rin po natin ang mga operations, so sabihin natin pagkikater, hindi lamang po dito sa loob ng Krame at saka sa NCR, even yung mga karating po natin na regions, like Pro 4B, Pro 4A, Pro 3, at meron po ngayon, ina-extend na rin natin from Pro 1, Pro 2, even Pro 4. Meron po tayong molecular laboratory din sa Region 11 in Davao, catering din po ng mga karating niya mga regions, yung mga nakadikit po doon. And for Visayas naman, ito po yung sa Cebu, na meron naman po rin tayong molecular laboratory that we will also cater yung mga personnel po natin na malalapit po, lalong-lalo na sa mga iba't ibang regions. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, Director Health Service. Ang huling katanungan ay nakatuon sa DIDM. Update po sa 9 former holocaps, may nahuli po ba or sumuko?
Ako na magsagot nito.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So update po yung mga siyam na pulis na na-charge na bumaril po sa mga 4 na army ay meron na po silang warrant, matagal na at sinerve na po namin, pero wala pa pong nahuli. Patuloy po ang pakipag-ugnayan namin sa pamilya na kung pwede mag-voluntary surrender sila, pero hanggang ngayon wala pa pong gustong mag-avail. So minamamnam namin at minumonitor namin kung nasaan sila. Ang last report po ng Pro-Bar ay nasa hulo pa rin po sila at nagtatago sa mga kamag-anakan po nila. So tinitingnan lang namin kung sino po yung mahuli namin na wala namang ibang casualties at wala namang ibang madamay. So sa ngayon, tinignan namin kung pwede pa silang mag-surrender sa admin. Salamat po.
Thank you very much, sir. Yun po ang huling katanungan. Thank you from our friends from the media for your active participation.
Okay.
With the permission of the CPNP, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to add also sa media, this is just the lighter side, no? The lighter side. Alam nyo po, nung nag-umpisa po tayo before the viral nung nag-surge, meron po kaming inumpisahan na 4-minute exercise. Ito po ay in-encourage namin sa mga pulis namin na gagawin ng 10 o'clock in the morning at saka 3 p.m. So ngayon, in-encourage to na maski nasa opisina ka lang, nasa cubicle mo, or yung mga naka-quarantine, ay i-upload mo lang, ay download mo lang to sa YouTube, ay pwede mo nang gawin yung exercise ng 4 minutes. Ngayon, nagdagdag pa kami ng mga bagong routine na may scientific approach and consideration po. Ito po ang paggamit ng rubber band, no? Na maski mag-isa ka lang, nasa kwarto ka, o nasa quarantine ka, o nasa cubicle ka, kunting exercise, another 4 minutes din po ito, no? Kunti lang galaw-galaw, na hindi ka naman maka-apekto sa mga kasamahan mo, ay in-encourage po namin to. Nag-i-issue po kami ng rubber band para po sa ikaganda ng health ng mga tao namin. Gusto kong ipakita yung ginawa naming exercise using the rubber band. Operator, please pakita mo yung 3 videos. Yung rubber band.
4-minute workout is a PNP fitness habit implemented as best practices in a government institution by the Chief PNP, General Debold and Sinas. It is done daily at 10 a.m. mid-morning and 3 p.m. mid-afternoon as a disruptive office-hour workout intervention break in all PNP regions nationwide. Its goal is to fight sedentarism and sitting as the new smoking. This short 4-minute pocket workout is also meant to boost our immune system, especially needed and helpful in these times of the pandemic.
Good day, I am Dr. Benny Atienza, the President of the Philippine Medical Association. Together with the PNP Health Services, ang mga bagong bayani, lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya. Samahan ninyo kami sa 4 na minutong video exercise para sa ating kalusugan. Ang ating sigaw, galaw-galaw!
Team PNP, ito ang ating exercises para sa ating band workouts.
Ang exercise bands ay nakakatulong sa pag-level up at dagdag resistance sa ating mga workouts.
Ang ating unang exercise ay ang sky reach with pulses. Siguraduhin natin na fully elongated ang ating torso at hinahatak natin yung bands ng 1 to 2 inches.
Ang susunod na exercise ay ang sky rotation. Siguraduhin pong binabatak ang ating bands habang pumipihit pakanan at pakaliwa.
Ang ating third exercise ay ang sky reach with side bends. Parang ating ginawa kanina, except this time mag-bend tayo pakaliwa at pakanan habang hinahatak yung bands at diretso-diretso ang ating mga braso.
At ang panghuling exercise ay ang sky reach with high knees. Make sure po na elongated ang ating spine habang and bands at nag-high knees. This is a core workout, so make sure that you are core engaged.
PNP, sabayan niyo po kami sa 4 na minutong ehersisyo.
Chief PNP ng bawat Pilipino, awa at serbisyo para sa kapwa-tao. Krimen ay ayaw niya pati mapangus ng puso, ang pag-ibig niya sa bayan natin totoo. Kamahuyay para sa masasama, kisiglay aming pag-asa. Chief PNP natin siya, Chief PNP natin siya. Tingnan niyo ang tapang niya, iligal ay magtago na, korupsyon ayaw niya. Ito na siya, nandito na, Chief PNP Sinas. Someday the sons of light shall fill all the earth, the morning of justice shall come to his birth. So little wave of brothers high and free into the air, for the Lord and the living all shall share. So just hold me back to fight and fight for peace, hand in hand like an eagle to the breeze, over lands and over seas. Waters fight will come to you, flashing through the wings of steel. Fades and falls are what we see, in souls of laser light, in overlands, in overseas, all wars what is fight. Hold this fight. Chief PNP ng bawat Pilipino, awa at serbisyo para sa kapwa-tao. Krimen ay ayaw niya pati mapangus ng puso, ang pag-ibig niya sa bayan natin totoo. Kamahuyay para sa masasama, kisiglay aming pag-asa. Chief PNP natin siya, Chief PNP natin siya. Tingnan niyo ang tapang niya, iligal ay magtago na, korupsyon ayaw niya. Ito na siya, nandito na, through the air, for the Lord and the living all shall share. Soldiers hold me back to fight and fight for peace, hand in hand like an eagle to the breeze, over lands and over seas. Waters fight will come to you, flashing through the wings of steel. Fades and falls are what we see, in souls of laser light, in overlands, in overseas, all wars what is fight. Hold this fight. Chief PNP ng bawat Pilipino, awa at serbisyo para sa kapwa-tao. Krimen ay ayaw niya pati mapangus ng puso, ang pag-ibig niya sa bayan natin totoo. Kamahuyay para sa masasama, kisiglay aming pag-asa. Chief PNP natin siya, Chief PNP natin siya. Tingnan niyo ang tapang niya, iligal ay magtago na, korupsyon ayaw niya. Ito na siya, nandito na, Chief PNP Sinas. Let's Debold!
Thank you. Thank you very much. So yun po yung bagong natin, exercise. May 3 video po yun. Iyon ang yung isa. So kung sino po yung gusto nga makita po yun, ay pwede nyo pong i-download sa YouTube. So with that, thank you very much po sa lahat na nandito at na nakikinig at saka sa mga kaibigan natin sa media, sa command group and staff na present dito, sa directorial staff and the directors of National Support Unit. Thank you for coming to the leadership of the PNPA together with the graduating class of the Hinirang class of 2021. Congratulations sa inyo and thank you for coming. That ends our press conference for today. Thank you at mabuhay po tayong lahat.